think we're still having a few people trickle in, but we're gonna go ahead and get started because we have a hard cutoff at 9:45. Ooh, how's that? Okay, thought I had feedback. So welcome to the future of social media fundraising. Woohoo, yeah, super exciting. So just a quick introduction. My name is Emilie. I am the social media fundraising specialist at Best Friends Animal Society. I am from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And yeah, do we have anyone else from Wisconsin here? I know a couple of people. Wow, that's awesome. And I have a dog and 2 cats, and one of my cats is actually paralyzed from the waist down, and I am very passionate about special needs animals and about Best Friends Animal Society. All right, I'll hand it over to Sarah if you want to.
Is my mic on?
Yeah, there you go.
Hi, I'm Sarah Tolley. I'm the manager of national social media for Best Friends Animal Society. I started in January with Best Friends, and the previous 6 years I spent in an animal shelter specializing in social media as well.
And I'm Jessie, Earl. I oversee our digital advertising program at Best Friends, and social media advertising is part of that. So we'll talk about how all of the pieces work together. And I've been with Best Friends 11 years. And yeah, woo woo. I live in Charleston, South Carolina now, and I started with Best Friends after a year's long interest as a volunteer, showing up for super adoption events and helping with the animals. So anyway, just always like to share our connection, like how we came to the cause. And I wanted to say happy birthday to Cody, who I met last night. Cody in the back.
Happy birthday!
Hey, happy birthday, Cody. Thanks for sharing your birthday with the animals and the animal lovers.
Cool. Well, let's go ahead then and get started. So we can't get into every single facet of social media fundraising in 45 minutes. This is going to be kind of a general overview and talking about our different positions and how we all contribute to it. But first, I just want to get a show of hands. How many people are with rescues or shelters or organizations that do fundraise on social media? Okay, awesome. Makes sense that you're here. And how many, raise your hand if you have seen, it has become increasingly difficult to fundraise on social media. Yeah, so pretty much everybody. We were joking that we could just get up here and say what is the future of social media fundraising? We don't really know. That's kind of how social media goes, is that you kind of just have to roll with the punches and get used to all the, Twitter becoming X and, all these new platforms. So the current landscape is definitely a little bit challenging. I think we've all kind of seen that, and it definitely, it impacts animals at the end of the day. So we're having to find new and creative ways to engage audience and, get people wanting to fundraise, getting people, passionate and kind of stewarding them to become our supporters. So fundraising on social media is different than other mediums. When you're signing up to become a Best Friends email member, you know that you're probably going to be getting donation requests. People are not going on social media to donate. That is not the first thought. I'm gonna go scroll through my feed and see which organizations I can donate to today. That's unfortunately, it'd be great if that's what people wanted to do, but it isn't. So we have to find a way to engage people and get them so passionate about our cause that they see a post and they want to donate. And that's kind of what we are figuring out, is what is the best way to do that. And a lot of that is trial and error and, seeing what people are really compelled by. And then social media's effect on fundraising is huge. Even if it isn't, you do a post with a donate button and it doesn't get a ton of money on it, just the visibility on social media. Someone might have gotten an email from us and they're like, oh, okay, I'll donate later, but it slips their mind. They click on a social post and they're like, oh yeah, I was gonna donate. The more people are seeing your content, the more people are seeing that you're in need of funds and the work that you're doing, the more likely they are to donate. So there's a bunch of different types of fundraising, but the 3 that I kind of wanted to cover are campaigns, one-off appeals, and trends. So campaigns are going to be, bigger things like Giving Tuesday, or, if you have a fundraising match or anything that is multiple posts, essentially. And it's really important to have these campaigns where you're having posts that kind of go together and are going to like a larger campaign. So at Best Friends, we have our digital campaigns manager here. Sorry to call you out in front of everyone. But so one of the jobs that I have is basically taking those digital campaigns and making them appropriate for social, because some of our emails are long and people are not reading all of that on social. So it's kind of figuring out how we can whittle that down and put it into bite-sized pieces that still makes people compelled to donate. So you're keeping all the important information, but you're kind of taking out anything that you don't need. So that is looking at campaigns. And then the next thing is going to be one-off appeals. So that's more of like the urgent posts. You know, we just got in this dog that has serious medical concerns and we need this money now. There's more urgency behind it. Whereas a campaign, there's still, you know, a sense of urgency, but you're not quite as like, this is a deadline, you know, to donate. So appeals are going to be one-off stories, basically. And then trends. So raise your hand if you participated in the Betty White Challenge. Awesome. So it's so important to jump on those trends. Like I remember I just kind of like saw this meme, which looks like it was honestly made by like a 5th grader. Hopefully no one created it in this room as I'm like insulting somebody. But you know, it's one of those things where like we would never put out content like this. Like we have a graphic design team. This is not the type of graphic that we would put out, but it spread like wildfire. And you know, Betty White had such an impact on so many people, and we were able to turn that grief and sadness into something so amazing. And it's just a really great example of why jumping onto these trends and being willing to kind of drop everything, change your entire social media plan is so important. I can say at Best Friends, we raised $330,000 from the Betty White Challenge, which was completely unplanned and was like absolutely shocking to us all. And we're like, it will never be recreated.
Yeah, I was gonna say, killed our year-over-year metrics.
Yeah, I know, and now we're like, they're like, where did this money go? And we're like, just don't look at it. So that's a bit of a challenge, but it's, you know, still, it was so wonderful. And another example of why social media is such a dynamic platform that you have to just be able to completely change your plan at any minute. So looking at campaigns, appeals, and trends, the other thing that is so important and that I see, you know, lots of organizations will just do donation requests over and over and over. But if every post has a donation request, it's kind of like no post has a donation request. You have to be very strategic about not overdoing it. You don't want to underdo it either, because you never know what people are going to donate to. Like sometimes we will randomly do an appeal for a turtle, you know, where they're not like your stereotypical dog or cat, and then all of a sudden you see like a ton of people donated to it. And that's another reason why trying things and seeing what your audience likes and is compelled to donate by is so important. So the campaigns, appeals, trends are kind of 3 of the larger facets that make up social media fundraising, and they're always changing, but some good foundation to have. And then my favorite thing to do is work smarter, not harder, and which is with peer-to-peer fundraising. So peer-to-peer fundraising is going to be like people creating fundraisers for you. So especially on Facebook, Meta, you're gonna see the birthday fundraisers for like Giving Tuesday. We have a template that people can use to set up their own fundraisers. And it is so important because you might think like, oh, everyone in my area knows about my rescue or knows about my organization. But a lot of people, you know, don't, or they've seen it, but they don't actually know anything about it. So if you have a supporter that is super engaged and they create a fundraiser and they're talking to their friends are going to be a lot more likely to listen to them and to read their posts than some random post of ours that comes across. So engaging your supporters and stewarding them to create fundraisers, like asking people, hey, like we see that you love Best Friends and we love that you love Best Friends. Will you create a fundraiser for us? Is a really great way to not only make that person feel like they are a part of something really important and that they're doing something important, because it is, but also to get more supporters. And it just kind of becomes, you know, a bunch of people, one, like how cats reproduce. It's like you have like one person and then all of a sudden there's like 5,000 people. And so that is another really important part of social media fundraising, is that like your organization cannot do it alone. You have to engage other people and have those people engage other people. We actually work with a specific social media fundraising company that runs challenges for us and gets, people excited and involved. And we make sure, that we're thanking our fundraisers. And Sarah will get more into kind of how we steward people. But yeah, that is a huge part of things. So to kind of review, we've talked about the few different types of posts that you're going to do. So campaigns, appeals, trends, and then working smarter, not harder, with getting your audience to do your job for you. No, but to basically help you accomplish a goal. And I think it just really it feels like such a community when your supporters know that they are making a huge impact, and whether it's they've gotten their friends and family to donate $5 or $500, making them feel special because someone doesn't donate the minute they see a post doesn't mean that they're never going to donate. And that's why the term or the phrase, there's no donation too small, obviously not too big, but there's no donation too small is so important, because stewarding those supporters to eventually become donors is one of the hugest things you can do on social media. So that is kind of a very broad overview of social media fundraising. I am going to pass it over to Sarah, who is going to talk about why engaging your audience. That's Sam, one of our cat specialists. This is one of her foster kittens who went very viral on Facebook. But Sarah is going to talk about why engaging your audience with nothing to do with fundraising is so integral to fundraising. So I'm going to pass it off to you. Tradesies.
All right. Hi, everyone. First things first, I am a very nervous public speaker. So this is my first time speaking. Yeah. Thank you. So if I talk too fast or if I stutter, I'm really sorry. I just get nervous. So hopefully nervousness means we care. So like Emilie said, I'm going to talk about how setting yourself up for success with social media fundraising is a really big part of what we're doing for organic social media. So we say organic social media, and I feel like most people can kind of infer what that is, but really what that is regular old posting. It's not with a fundraising button, it's not a boosted post, it's not an ad that you created in, it's your day-to-day average posting that you're doing. That's organic social. And whenever you are looking at, hopefully you're tracking how your social media posts do. If you're not, we'll talk about that later today. But you can see on there, whenever you're tracking, you'll see organic reach, you'll see paid reach, or you'll see viral reach, which we always hope for viral, right? But organic reach is just your followers and how it integrates through the algorithm and how it kind of spreads naturally. So organic, right? So organic social has a lot of different goals and a lot of different purposes that we serve within our organization. What do you think the biggest goal is for our social media? Anybody? Engagement, yeah, it's a good one. Expanding on our audience, absolutely right. We want to expand our audience as much as we can, and we do that through engagement. So we are always trying to find new people, find new followers, and how do we do that? We do that with engaging, fun, relatable content. And you're doing that, and it can seem like, oh, I'm just posting something funny. Like, that's not purposeful. It's purposeful in social media these days. You want to do something that people relate to, that people are like, that's really funny, I want to share that. So then more people are seeing, they're funny, they're interesting, let's follow them too. So now we're bringing more people into it. If you're only trying to market to the people that are in front of you, like let's say all of you all are just my followers, and I'm not ever trying to reach anybody beyond you all, eventually I'm going to adopt to all of you, and you're going to have a house full and you can't adopt anymore, or I'm going to tap out all of your money and you can't give me anymore. And then we're just stuck staring at each other. So we want to make sure that we're always trying to do something that's relatable, that people will want to interact with and share or comment. Also for engagement, you really want to be having conversations. So when you're looking at content that's going to be highly engaging and reaching new people, you want something that makes them want to comment. Maybe it's asking them a question. Maybe it's something like, can you relate? And just seeing what they put in the comments and responding to those comments. So one thing that I saw in a webinar once said, content is king, but engagement is queen. And we all know we're queens, so queens rule the house, really. So you want to make sure you're doing that kind of engagement and you're having conversations in the comments and you're building that sense of community on the internet, which can be hard to do. So the biggest takeaway from this is set yourself up for success. If you're posting that fun, relatable content, then whenever you have to come in with some kind of ask, and it might be something that's a little bit serious, that's not typically humorous, if you're coming in with that ask, then your algorithm is already set up saying, hey, they always get a lot of likes, comments, everybody likes to interact with their posts, they always read them. Then whenever you're coming in with a fundraising ask, that algorithm has already set you up for success. So you're trying to build up your foundation so when you're coming in with a hard ask, it's ready to go. So that's the first biggest takeaway for organic social. I've got one more. Let me see what time I'm at. I talk too fast. Great. It just leaves more time for questions, right? So Julie yesterday at the opening session asked her panel, what would you go back and give advice for your past self with? And I was currently laying on the floor filming, so if you saw a weirdo laying on the floor filming Julie, that was me for social media. But that really resonated with me, and I was like, what would I tell myself? And I thought about it. So the last 6 years, I worked in a shelter. I did social media, I did marketing, I did graphic design, I did any type of like forward-facing thing. I did all the adoption events. I managed the adoptions team, and then I was also trained in every department. So if intake had a call off, I'm going over there and I'm doing that for the day. So whenever I first started doing the social media, I was like, okay, I'm gonna like write this really great post, and I would put it in my phone, and I would just write it in the notes in my phone, right? I would put the picture in there too, so I was like, I'm ready to go. Tomorrow morning, I'm gonna post that as soon as I get to work. But then tomorrow morning comes and there's a dog that needs me, or there's a foster kitten that needs me, or there's a person who's asking for help. And I'm gonna prioritize the person who's in front of me. I'm not thinking about social media at that point because I wasn't prioritizing it. So I would come in and I would be helping these people, or I would be helping in the kennels because there was a call off, or whatever the case may be. 6 hours later, I've never posted on social media today. And my awesome post, okay, well maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Copy and paste. It happens every single day, right? We come in and we don't know what we're gonna see when we come in, and it fell to the wayside. So I was so stressed trying to increase my social media audience and do better on social media, but I felt like I didn't have the time. And I also had $0 budget, so feel that. If you have no budget for marketing, neither did I. And I was like, I have to find some way to make this work. And I looked on Meta Business Suite, which, lame, who goes on Meta Business Suite? I looked on Meta Business Suite, you can schedule your content for free. And I was like, okay, well maybe if I can set aside 1 hour and just schedule as many posts as I can, then I won't have to worry about it. And now that I'm 6 years down the road from that, I'm like, why on earth was I not scheduling stuff every single day? Why was I making it so much harder for myself and stressing myself out and doing a disservice to our social media, because it is so important to fundraise on social media and to be present on social media. I was doing a disservice to our shelter by not prioritizing it. So schedule things, schedule things, schedule things. You do not have to have a big budget. Best Friends is blessed to have an amazing social media software. You do not have to have that. You can do Meta Business Suite for free. There's things like Hootsuite and Later that you can do some basics for free, and then you can upgrade if you would like. But schedule things. It will make your life so much better. It will make your content so much better. And if you have something that comes in that's like an immediate ask for fundraising, reschedule. Reschedule your fun, relatable content to another day, and that's okay. But the biggest takeaway is if you're not scheduling things, you are doing a disservice to your mental health as well, because you're probably super stressed out. Schedule things, please. And there are so many different options. And I forgot to switch this next slide because nervousness. So fun times. Okay, that's my second slide, sorry. So this is pulled from BrandWatch. This is Best Friends social media software. They polled at the beginning of the year over 1,000 different social media marketers, and they published the results. So these are social media marketers from all walks of life. It's not animal welfare people. We're likely the only animal welfare organization that BrandWatch has under their repertoire. But this is coming from everyone. These are the best types of social media content: funny, relatable, trendy. Bam, bam, bam. The next one is authentic. I feel like animal welfare is one of the best places to be authentic because our animals are right there and they're authentically them. So those are the best types, and you can see funny is number 1. I'm not very funny. You can find funny things in an animal shelter. I have a very dry sense of humor. But funny, relatable, if you see a dog that's laying on its back and it's sleeping like this, like, that's hilarious. My dog also sleeps like that. Post that and be like, can anyone relate? Or if a cat looks grouchy and their fur's all messed up, then Monday mornings suck, and you post it like that. It's relatable. We all hate that. We haven't had our coffee yet. So something like that. It doesn't have to be super in-depth. It just needs to be fun. And it's also a really great way for you and your staff to have a little bit of fun with it. We have so much work to do. We're so busy in a day. Social media is a fun place. Let your staff come up with captions. Let your staff submit funny pictures like that. And it helps them be involved with it too. And then we're all working together to build ourselves up for success. And then the second thing is the best times to post on social media. So I saw a lot of people taking pictures. Hopefully you did. That's just a really easy way to keep that in mind. So whenever you're scheduling on things, you can schedule Facebook to go up at 9 and Instagram to go up at noon. If you have more than that, then great, awesome. But if not, you can still rely on those two things. So
Everybody's on social media while they're at work.
Amen. Amen. What are we doing on lunch? We're scrolling.
I mean, you do that
So
for
yeah,
work,
so make sure that you're paying attention to that and keep that in mind whenever you're posting. If you're on Meta Business Suite as well, they will give you suggested times. Do I always believe those suggested times? No, but you can try it out because it doesn't hurt anything to try, right? Social media is always changing. Maybe more people are active in the evening when they're eating dinner than they are at lunch at work. That's okay. Just try things out and don't be afraid to try new things. So my two biggest takeaways for organic social are, one, be funny, be relatable, have a little fun with it. And number two is, for the love of God, please schedule things. Please. I cannot emphasize how stressed I was before and how much better it makes your life. And before I hand it off to Jessie, I just want to let you all know, if you are interested in social media and you want to talk a little bit more in depth about engagement on social media, I'm doing another presentation at 2 that's focused on deep diving into engagement on social media. So if you would like to come, I would love to see you. And I got done a little bit early, but here's Jessie.
We're running a few minutes early. I didn't get a round of applause.
I'm hot for you today.
I'm sorry for this like banana-shaped room. Like, we did not order that special.
We like it all over there too, we promise.
Number one tip for raising money on social media: wear linen pants.
Yes.
If you hear anything, it's that.
I know, we all saw each other this morning and we're like, okay. No. No, we sure didn't.
All right. Where are my big ad budget people in the room? No? I was led astray. No, I figured that would be the case. They send the ad girl to talk to everybody about things that cost lots of money. But I'm going to talk about ways that you can get into social media advertising, which I firmly believe every person in this room should, at whatever budget you can start with. So social media ads are low cost. That's why, unfortunately, it's very competitive, because it's easily accessible to anyone. The ad platform is right there on Facebook. They're actually cueing you to advertise with encouraging you to hit that boost button. So boosted posts, boosted events, those are all advertising, count it. But they're popular because they are effective. They're high impact. You can reach a very precise, tiny audience that you want to go after, or you can be very successful in expanding your audience. And you need to bring people to see your engaging content to nurture that relationship so that you have somebody to talk to when you want to fundraise. Otherwise, you're creating these beautiful campaigns that there's no one to see them. So we are, while we're all active on quite a few channels, predominantly the fundraising is still happening on Facebook. So it's not that we're ignoring the impact of those other channels, it's still the world's largest channel. People are more willing to donate. Facebook makes it easier for people to donate. So that's where the majority of our efforts go with regard to advertising. I do intend this year to dig in to keep looking at TikTok. We have tried it. It just doesn't raise a lot of money. So I'm not ready to, it doesn't raise a lot of money organically, which concerns me for advertising. Great for awareness, great for driving adoptions, all of those things. But in terms of fundraising, which is what we're talking about here, Facebook and Instagram are still where it's at. I honestly don't know anyone advertising on Twitter or TikTok. Pinterest, LinkedIn, I mean, all of those things can be helpful to certain groups. And if that is where your people are, then by all means do it. This is an example of the average cost per 1,000 people reached on the different channels, and also the average cost per click to get them to click on the link you're driving them to. So you can see YouTube, very high cost to reach that audience, but it's a very engaged audience. We do a little bit of YouTube advertising, to be honest, but it's more through our search campaign. We do these Performance Max campaigns that place ads on YouTube. We've tried more focused ads on YouTube, and they just don't generate the return. So again, not that they're not helpful for your cause, they're just not going to see the immediate dollars. So, but we're talking about how this is low cost. So I mean, look at that, 44 cents per click, $14 to reach 1,000 people. Think about how much it costs to put on an event for 1,000 people. Certainly more than $14, unless we're talking real low budge backyard. Anyway, it's easy entry point. You can start whatever you have, and honestly, I started with no budget at Best Friends for ads, and it was just baby steps. It was let's try to boost this post and put $50 behind it. Okay. Cool. In the beginning, it was, let me make my money back. Let me see if I can get $50 back at least, it'll be worth it. Now I'd probably settle for a little bit less than than the dollar. It's getting more competitive out there, but you have to look beyond that initial gift even, because once you bring them in, you're going to nurture them and they'll donate more. Maybe if you can get them to become a monthly donor. So try to not shoot yourself in the foot by focusing only on how much you generate with that initial ask. So it is an investment, but a worthy one. Just another, proof that more nonprofits are continuing to invest in digital ads. Again, we're just talking about social media here today, but if everyone in this room has not applied for the Google ad or Google grant for nonprofits, where you can get free Google ads up to $10,000 a month in ad value, for sure you need to do that. I know we're not talking about that here, but if you don't know how to do that, to implement a basic search campaign to drive traffic to your org from local people who are searching for adoptions or giving to animal welfare, then find a volunteer who can do that. Or honestly, a website like Fiverr.com that freelancers will do that for pretty low budget as well. So anyway, so nonprofits increased their investment in digital ads by 28% in 2022. So while competition is becoming more fierce, it's still impactful. We're seeing results, which is why more people are coming to the table. So if you're not out there, you're missing out on a way to access new audiences. Small nonprofits in particular spent 20% of their fundraising budget on meta ads. And to give you an idea of average returns, I just kept it in there for comparison, but search ads, those are high intent people who are already searching for you. They know about you, so it's likely they maybe already want to make a gift and they're just looking for the right donation page. But display ads, 33 cents for every dollar you spend. Meta, average from M&R benchmarks is 50 cents for a dollar, and Twitter 41. But again, I don't mess with that. Okay, so before you go boosting a post or building out an ad campaign, I implore you to consider all of these key elements. Start on paper, start on your laptop. Make sure you have answers to all of these questions or something to plug into each box here. So what is your goal? And that can be what kind of return will you be satisfied with? What kind of return will your supervisor be satisfied with, so that you can say, hey, look, remember we talked about if you gave me $200, I would deliver this. It'd be a test period, and look, we did. Can we invest more? So, and then thinking about that long-term versus short-term. So we're going to have a little more leeway. We're willing to spend a little more, for example, to acquire monthly donors, because the hope is they'll stay on longer and have a long-term value. Budget, again, start where comfortable. If it's If it's $20, if it's $100, $1,000. So targeting is key, and that's how you make your money. You're precise with your money. You make it go farther. Is targeting existing audiences, like those in your CRM, your email list, your volunteers, your adopters. Also, people who've engaged with you on social media. Facebook makes it really easy to create audiences that you can store in the audience manager, rather than just like boosting to a random audience. Like the algorithm is powerful. It does try and find the best people to get the action that you want. It is helpful, but with limited dollars, my money's still on tell Facebook where you want to go find your people. And yeah, don't forget about web visitors. So set up a retargeting audience within Facebook Audience Manager as well, targeting certain pages on your website. You can set it up to trigger an ad for every time someone goes to your homepage, they get an ad on Facebook. Lookalike audiences off of your best audiences. Who are your donors? Your donor audience would be key for that. So build lookalikes. That every lookalike audience is a 1 to 2 million new people. And then other prospects. So if you have none of those lists, hone in your demographics, geography, anything you know about who would be your ideal donor. But that's very important, who you're targeting. Start with Meta. Again, test into others if you really feel confident that your people are elsewhere. The same tools are pretty much available across each of the social channels. So test it if you have that flexibility. Creative is huge. Everything these guys said, it applies here to ads. So AI can help with that, and like Facebook's own dynamic ad tool is a great example of that. So you can come up with five headlines, 5 copy examples. You don't even have to have special graphics. Just grab like an image you snapped of a dog and a cat, and throw them in there, throw a mix of them, and choose the dynamic ad setting, and Facebook will put together the right combination to reach your audience most efficiently. Video is huge. If just a simple video you film on your cell phone, or you can build a slideshow if all you have is still images. Build a slideshow within Facebook Ads Manager. Some type of animation wins time after time. A clear call to action. So as you're putting out a post that you think you might boost on Facebook, think about what it would look like as an ad. Make sure it's very clear what you want people to do. If you want them to fundraise, you better ask for that. You better put a donate button on it, and make it very clear and easy for people to do that before you boost it. And with regard to boosting, I talk about this all the time. There's the inclination of, oh, I worked hard on this post. I want to put some ad dollars behind it so it reaches more people. Back that up. Put the post out there. Let your audience tell you what's a good post. If they like it, if they're engaging with it, great. Put some money behind that and expand it to further audiences, because you've already tested that content. With limited dollars, don't waste a single dollar on untested messaging and imagery, because it's super easy to double check that. You want your content to be emotive, like make people feel something. And funny is great for engagement, but if you're too funny, that's not going to make people start giving you dollar bills. Like you got to kind of weave that balance, I guess. And then keep it brief-ish, because honestly, we've done really long ads before where it's just like an image of a pet, and we're kind of telling the story, so you don't have to go jump to another landing page to get the full start-to-finish story about a pet's recovery and healing and adoption. But then that donate button is clear. But most of the time, we try and keep it to 2 or 3 sentences, a clear call to action. And then timing. Consider the calendar in general, like what is going on. Maybe on December 31st, like don't be posting about something completely irrelevant to end of year. Think about where people are and when your ads are running. Are you competing with other things that your org is doing? And then even time of day, what they talked about, boost runtime. If you're going to boost a post, at least a few days. Give it at least a few days, not like, oh, it needs to reach everybody today. That gives the algorithm time to like optimize and find the right people and not just rush it and spend the dollars. And then if you're doing a broader campaign, like a built campaign with images and video and copy outside of a boosted post, I'd say a runtime of 7 days at least. Because when you first put those ads out, they're in a learning phase, and you have to give them time to optimize and keep them rolling. And then the donation point is very important. I'm looking at our director of conversion and optimization, Evan. That is very important. Where are you sending people, and how easy is it to give? Is it the Facebook donate button? Super easy. Are you set up to like import that data and keep talking to those people? You know, are you evaluating like average gifts and all of that? Or your landing page, your donation form on your website, how clear is it the impact somebody's gift could have? So, you know, keep trying new things with your donation pages, and don't forget about that piece. It's all part of the ad, part of the user experience. And then tracking. Don't do any of this that we talked about unless you have the ability to measure success, whatever success looks like to you. Whoever has given you budget, what have you agreed success would look like there? And it may be like baby steps, and you keep trying and pushing that. I don't know if Sue Citro's in the room, but we're always trying and pushing what we can get away with testing there with everybody's comfort level. But yeah, are you set up to track the impact of your dollars? And then like Facebook can track a lot of that for you, certainly if you set up proper pixels and all of that, but it can also be as basic as, hey, the only thing we were really doing that week was running ads, and we received a lot more donations. You know, it can be like an overall lift, because all of this is working together. We didn't really talk about that too much, but like email and social media, for example, are besties. So whatever you're Keely. So don't forget that. We're all working together. With social media ads, again, it's kind of the buckets of content that Emilie talked about for social media. There's boosted content, the boosted post button. That's the easiest entry point. That's honestly where everyone should start, and just start digging into the features that they give you. When you hit that boost button, how much can you dig in with targeting? And then when you're ready to expand beyond that, open up Ads Manager, and Facebook will make it very easy to walk you through every step. Add this graphic, add copy options here. So, and there you have a little bit more freedom in like what those posts look like. You can change what the buttons say. So it's certainly worth moving to that point. And that at that point is when you would run things like evergreen campaigns. So I'm sure if any of you have engaged with any Best Friends content, you're probably getting some of what we call our evergreen ads that are like, they're always running. They're retargeting people who have visited our website. They're retargeting people who have engaged with social content. They're working for us all the time. And then there's those moment in time campaigns. Giving Tuesday, Best Friends Day for us in the summer. It's important to have a balance of those, because those moment in time campaigns, they take a lot of work sometimes. And that can even be, oh my gosh, we had this dog come in and has a great story. We want to fundraise around it. That falls into that moment in time category. But again, a lot of work to get that running, where your evergreen campaigns are like, you can turn them on and off whenever you want, whenever you have budget. And you also, the thing with those raise the most money for us because we've had a lot of time to optimize and improve them. Got a few examples of some of those ad types. So on the left is one of our monthly campaigns. That's an evergreen campaign for us. In the middle was Best Friends Day, and to the right, that's a regular sponsorship ad that we have. Those do really well because they tell a pet story. People want to feel like, even though these are not restricted dollars we're raising for Titus, we still present Titus's story, and we always tie it back to help pets like Titus, because it feels much better to give your money to a story you can see versus just the nebulous broad cause. So just keep that in mind. And these are like heavily, graphic supported, but it doesn't have to be like that. That can just be a simple image that you took and copy you build. So don't overthink that. And then I included at the end where you see just a reminder to think about that click-through point to your donation form. that is all that we have for slides. But
Yeah, I can switch with you.
yeah, we very much want to hear what exciting things you guys are doing with social media fundraising or any questions you have. We have six
5
minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes. And the important thing is we just need to get the mic to
Yeah.
whomever
I see a few
has a
hands.
question. So I'll
Yeah.
let Emily,
I'll switch out with you. That's yours.
yeah, but we put our contact info and
Yeah, and feel free to reach out to any of us, all of us. But yeah, maybe time for
like
a
hearing
question or
from
two.
people.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, wait, sorry,
One
one
second
sec.
for the mic.
There you go.
Sorry.
Yeah.
They're streaming it for other people.
I didn't
Otherwise-
want
yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
could talk real loud. So when you say like comment on every, like if you post something and somebody comments, you're supposed to
Yeah.
do something to that. Is just a simple like or a heart or whatever, is that enough? Or should you actually thank each and every one of those if you have 100 people that have commented on your post?
Yeah, so I definitely won't comment on every single one of them. I will, like if somebody's like, oh, I sent a bag of food, I'll say thank you. Instead of just liking it, I'll just do a quick thank you with a heart or something like that. If they're asking a question, I fully answer that, but you don't have to do every single one. I try and do at least half. That's what I aim for. Although, fun example, I just posted a show us your pictures of your cat on International Cat Day. There were like 1,000 comments, and I was like, I can't tell everybody that their cat is cute. Like, I really do think that, but I can't. So yeah, I aim for half unless it's a lot of volume.
It's a fun volunteer position too
you
for
go,
some
yeah.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe one more.
And if somebody gives you something to work with, like I've supported you for years and I just made a donation, like absolutely prioritize personalized responses to those people. It'll go very far.
I have a Reels post that did really well last month and generated some money with no boosting or anything.
Yeah.
Can I go back and boost that post? Would that be something to do, or do I repost it and boost it now?
Was there anything like timely? I mean, did it reference like last week or something like that?
No. There was
Then-
no time on it.
Absolutely, you can. And I mean, if you have the video and everything, have you played around in Ads Manager? Or
I
just-
haven't, no.
Okay.
And it's
Then
just Instagram I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. Well, Facebook Ads Manager runs Instagram and
Okay.
Facebook ads. If you're running Facebook ads, if you don't change any of the settings, you're also running Instagram ads. So, and
Okay.
you're boosting your posts on Instagram too.
It's always
so.
Okay.
great though when you have that traction to boost
Yeah.
it then. Like I once had a video go kind of viral on TikTok and I had like put a couple dollars behind it and it just like blew up because there's already people liking it and then you get it on more people's algorithm and then it just kind of tends to go crazy. It doesn't mean that it won't still be successful after the fact or like after it's slowed down a little bit, but like the sweet spot is while it's kind of fresh. But it's still something to try.
So just do it again. Just make a new post and
No,
then.
I would if like it had good engagement, I would probably just boost it as is. That's just like future. If like you
Okay.
have another post that is doing really well,
Right.
go ahead and just like. But you don't always think about it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So I'll go back and boost that and then.
Yeah, I think that'd
Thank
be
you.
great. Yeah. I think that's
think we're
pretty
getting
much all the time that we have, but thank you
Thank you
everyone
all so
for
much for
coming.
being here.
Yeah, thanks for coming.